This is Worldwide Flava Network. Coast to coast and worldwide.
The views, information, or opinions expressed on the broadcast of Worldwide Flava Network are solely those of the individuals involved and does not represent those of Worldwide Flava Network and Live365.com. Worldwide Flava Network is not responsible and does not verify for accuracy of the information contained on any live or recorded broadcast available for listening on the site.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Shout, also known as Color Beauty. Join me on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on WWFN Online Radio. When 2 minutes is not enough, we go into overtime. See you then.
This show is being sponsored by Worldwide Flava Network. If you are looking to have your own radio show, come and join us here on WWFN Online Radio. Contact us via our website, www.worldwideflavanetwork.com.
Tune in Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Positional Sports Talk Show on the Worldwide Flava Network with Big Reg
and J3.
Here in 1992, we present the fabulous What's the Scenario remix.
Good evening, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show, Post, on the Worldwide Flava Network. Bringing you a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports without hidden agendas or deference to any organization or team. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined this evening by my partner in crime and brother, J3. How you doing, J3?
I am doing outstanding. Glad to be back.
I'm glad for week 2.
Yes, sir.
We're also joined this evening by a special guest host. Some of you saw him last week, my partner, Big Ed.
Howdy. Good to be here. Hope everybody had a great week.
And we have a fourth co-host this evening, another member of the family. How you doing, Al?
I'm doing great. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, Al, last week we all got a chance to give, everybody a little breakdown of why we're here this evening, a little background on ourselves. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Alfonso, but you can call me Al. I'm known to be called Smooth Jazz. That's my nickname. Born and raised here in Baltimore. Currently reside out in the Woodlawn area. Been out there for the last 25 plus years now. And I'm just happy to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you, partner. Glad to have you. Well, this evening we will discuss NFL Week 1. I'm sure a lot of you got your fix in. Football's back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also talk about some of the big signings, the trades, and remaining holdouts in the NFL. We've got a special topic. Is this the year of the black quarterback in the NFL? Hit a little bit of college football Week 2. Try to get to our local high school football recap and other topics that caught our attention throughout the week. So relax and enjoy Post on WWFN Online Radio. So first and foremost, I don't know about y'all, but Lamar Jackson is a bad man.
He is what we thought he was.
Dennis Green. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit. I told you that we might be looking at the Michael Vick Experience Part 2. I need to correct that. We're looking at the Lamar Jackson Experience Part 1.
Totally agree.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Yes, indeed.
He really put on the show.
He did, and I don't want to hear the critics say, well, they played the Dolphins. I'm really rooting for this young man. He's here in Baltimore. And he's trying to do his thing. He's really working hard from what I understand behind the scenes. He's putting in the work. And, there's a lot of naysayers out there that that I guess want to see him fail. They call him a running back. In fact, he alluded to it after the game. He was like, not bad for a running back.
Yeah, that was a nice little
Yeah, it was
jab.
nice.
He
That was real
slid
nice.
in there.
Quick day.
Absolutely.
But I mean, the Dolphins are an NFL team. They get paid like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are. It's unfortunately their team just dismantled. Their 53-man roster last year, they only had 21 return. So, but even with that, like Red said, they're a professional football team.
And here's the thing, as far as the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I don't know why we have this hype machine in the NFL where, you know, it's always the flavor of the month. So this year, I guess it was Cleveland.
We'll get to them.
Yeah, I guess it was Cleveland, and you know, it's like the Ravens didn't win the division. It's like, you know, Lamar Jackson he was just handing the ball off. No respect, absolutely no respect.
Yeah.
The big thing that the Ravens don't get respect for, and I give John Harbaugh and his staff all the credit, they tore down an offense that was designed for Joe Flacco. When they drafted Lamar last year, they did not want him to play. He was going to be the wildcat type quarterback. But once they realized that the season was going away, let's play the young kid, they totally built an offense for him to succeed, what real coaches should do.
And again, Harbaugh, I think he's underrated. I think he gets he does not get nearly the credit that he should get for, you know, the decisions that he makes. I mean, how many people would change like literally mid-season, maybe a little bit before mid-season, to a totally different offense and run with it?
Well, I'd like to chime in on that. There was a reason why he did that, because his job was on the line.
Well, yeah,
He had
like them
no
checks.
choice. He had to make that move.
But I mean, a lot of coaches have to make similar decisions, and
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah, it was a gutsy move though.
But he played to the strength of the team. The strength of the team last year was the defense. So how do you keep your defense fresh? Dominate the clock.
Right.
Run the ball.
Run the ball.
What can your quarterback do last year? Because remember, he didn't get any reps with the ones, barely any reps with the twos last year. So they designed it, made it work, and now you can see what that young man used to do when he was at Louisville. I mean, he was flicking 50-yard passes. Like he wasn't even putting all his weight into the throw. Just a flick of the wrist, touchdown. And that young man, Hollywood Brown, I told y'all that man, Hollywood Brown. Them Brown boys, I don't know what's in the water in the family, but them boys can run.
Yeah.
But I was impressed. I mean, the 5 TDs were impressive, but that he hit 8 receivers during the game, spread the ball around. He was hitting people in stride where they could keep on moving. I mean, it was just impressive. And then you bring in Ingram, 14 rushes, 107 with a couple of TDs. Heck, they even got RG3 in the game. He threw a touchdown.
He threw a touchdown too.
How about
I was
that?
seeing things.
Yeah.
How about that?
So, I mean, hats off to the Ravens. They are well on their way, and I can't wait to see their matchup this coming weekend. I mean, you get to see 2 young black quarterbacks try to put on the show. So,
Hey, and never forget, Sizzle makes his return to Baltimore.
oh, absolutely,
That's right.
absolutely.
Charles Sutton's
Real
coming back.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
Now, we just talked about organization and coaching staff that conform to their players. Let's talk about an organization and coaching staff that tries to force their system onto their players.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Come on.
How can your
Bring it.
boys lose a 17-point first half lead?
Can I interject real quick?
Coach.
I owe you, Reg, Joe, a sincere apology from the bottom of my heart. I was actually fooled to believe that Gruden should actually be there,
Here we go.
and I suffered through that game.
You ain't the only one.
And the background,
Man.
as far as not
Man.
having AP even active, that's a whole. I don't understand Gruden's philosophy. It's time to go. So I hope you guys, in front of everybody here in this room and also online, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. It's time for him to go.
Yeah. See, Skins fans have been suffering through this for 5 years now. I mean,
Actually, longer.
the man goes in with the lead. I can't tell you how many times the other team makes minor adjustments, nothing major, and he acts like he doesn't know what to do. The Eagles ran the ball, shoved it down their throat. They had the ball for almost 12 minutes in the third quarter.
Defense was tired.
Yeah, they were tired.
They were tired.
Wouldn't you be tired?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
They credit
and-
Wentz too. Now he was rusty that first half, but he got that rust off in the second half. He went to work.
Did he get his rest off, or was it Deshaun?
Well,
Where was the
Deshaun did
safeties
that-
at?
When,
Please
when
tell me.
doesn't Deshaun do that to anyone who he plays against?
Where were the safeties at? That's the
They
question.
had a 17-point lead.
Right.
They were hyping Geis. And look, I want the young man to succeed, but he's coming off his knee surgery.
Yep.
And you have a horse on the sideline in t-shirts and jeans, and he killed Philadelphia last year. They were so happy. Matter of fact, Gruden might have got a gift basket from the Philadelphia
Right.
staff
Right.
for not having AP dress. It's
Coach,
ridiculous.
coaching,
Yeah.
plain and simple,
Oh
coaching.
my God, it was horrible.
And the sad part about it is Geis is hurt again.
Mhm.
Yeah, he hurt.
That is
The other
unfortunate.
knee,
Mhm.
That is unfortunate.
which happens a lot. You come back from one, and then you move on. Another big thing, Sunday Night Football. AB's gone. Le'Veon's gone. Everything's good here in Steelers. It's quiet. It's peaceful.
Not.
We had our best off season that we've had in years. Everything's going to be great. 33-3.
3 points.
3 points. That's it.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal with Pittsburgh and New England. During the Tomlin era, Pittsburgh is 3 and now 11 against Bill Belichick and Brady. Mike Tomlin is a rah-rah guy. He should be in college. He's a great coach, but in the NFL, his message, after maybe a year or two, it rings on hollow ears. Bill Belichick is a master at coaching. And look, he does it to more people than Tomlin and Big Ben. But that performance they put on Sunday night, no one should get paid. No one should get paid. I saw the same play over and over again. Receivers running wide open across the middle. And then Tomlin comes out at after halftime, and Michelle Tafoya asked him, "Hey, do you think any adjustments need to be made?" And he says, "No, the defense is playing great. Maybe we might need to tighten up the offense." At that point, I just sat back, grabbed my popcorn. It was wet with tears, full disclosure.
Maybe she should have asked him, did he need some glasses? Because obviously he wasn't watching the game.
Obviously.
Now you understand the Skins fans' pain. And it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
They kicked 4 field goals. And guess who's in town now? But we'll get to him in a minute. I hate to say it. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, they look good.
Dak
They look
looked
good.
awesome.
Yes.
Dak was putting on a performance, and it looked like he was staring up into the owner's box the whole game. Give me my money.
Get my money. That's right.
And it better be right, or I'm not signing, and I'm going to make you pay me more.
Fellas, while we're sitting here talking about, is this the year of the black quarterback? It seems like the threshold for a black quarterback to get paid or even to get respect is so much higher than a white quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, you would think by now in 2019 that we had moved past that. I mean, the evidence is out there. We can play the position. Our guys can handle the workload. They're mentally strong enough to do this, right? And they always have been, but for whatever reason, they haven't been let into that club. But why is it that we have top flight quarterbacks that have to beg, borrow, and steal to get their money? And I can give you examples. Like Russell Wilson, before the season even started, before he became the highest paid player in the NFL. Well, there was whispers he may get traded. Now, I'm sure all this might be negotiating behind the table or whatever, behind the scenes or what have you, but it seems like black quarterbacks always have to be that good and then just a little bit more.
Come on, Ed. You already know it's about winning losses. And if your team's not winning, they're not going to pay you.
But it's not just about wins and losses. They say the NFL is a microcosm of the United States. Don't we have to go through that every day in life? We got to be a little better.
True.
Mm-hmm.
For a little longer, for a little less, beg and plead for our money. Look who owns the teams.
That's true.
That's where it starts.
And you're getting ready to give these people generational wealth. But they can give the Jared Goffs of the world crazy money without a blink of an eye. But we'll get to that in a little bit too.
Or Kirk Cousins and his $84 million guaranteed.
Who threw for less than 100 yards in their victory. But he's making $28 million this year and 28 more next year.
Do we really want to talk about the Vikings? Because they stunk it up.
They won their game. Like you said, it's about the W's and L's.
Yep.
But I mean, before we get on to them Vikings, like I said, hats off to the Cowboys. Y'all who know me know I'm not a big fan, but I got to give credit where credit's due.
And what about Eli?
Did you see those looks? Eli had his looks like he was confused in days.
What else?
But that's
new?
every week.
What else is new? Come on now.
Now let's talk about the biggest crash over the weekend. We told you it was either going to go real good or real bad, and the Cleveland Browns looked really, really bad. And they were playing the Titans. Marcus Mariota, he's fighting to see if he'll be able to keep his starting job. And they got beat 43-13.
Look, the Cleveland Browns, like Delaney Walker for the Tennessee Titans said, they are who we thought they were going to be.
Yep.
The last time Baker Mayfield played a professional football game, he threw 3 picks against the Baltimore Ravens. The very next time you saw him play a real game this past Sunday, he threw 3 picks against the Tennessee Titans.
I guess the defense watches film too, huh?
I guess they do.
You think?
Yeah, but you got with him, he's a gunslinger. He takes a lot of chances, and that's his MO. That's just how he plays. But I think right now the Browns really have an identity problem. How are you going to play the game? Are you a run first or you pass? They don't have really a balance right now. I think they're putting too much pressure on that young man. But
that's what happens when you have a rookie coach
that
who
was my
shouldn't
next
have
point.
a position.
Right.
Or
yeah, that's true too.
have a microphone that the quarterback, the most visible, important person on that team, he cannot pass a microphone up. He can't. He's criticizing other players, other teams. He's making all these predictions.
Yeah, I know.
And he hasn't won anything yet.
Yeah, he cashing a lot of checks that his team got to cover.
Yeah,
I definitely want to inject on this. So, Al, you touched on running and passing. They got a beast in the back, Chubb. Feed him the ball.
Yeah, they didn't use him enough.
Feed him the ball.
They surely didn't use him enough
That'll
in
give
that game.
a little pressure off of
They didn't.
Mayfield so he can actually get his rhythm and mix it up.
Yeah. And they have the weapons. They have everything cropped. But like they say, having the players on paper, it doesn't mean anything. It's about that chemistry. And like you say, talking about the head coach, Kitchens, I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on him.
Is Odell's watching short?
Odell getting paid. It's obvious he doesn't care. And I just saw on ESPN that even though the league told him to stop wearing it because, as they say, there's no rule against jewelry, but hard objects are a problem, he says he's going to keep wearing his watch.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the company's paying him enough to absorb those fines. So your star receiver is more worried about his endorsements and his off-the-field things. Your quarterback wants to fight everybody. And every other team in the NFL on their schedule this year, like, oh, yeah, we're going to punch them right in the mouth.
Mhm.
Did y'all happen to see the first Monday night game last night? That New Orleans Saints
Wow.
Texans game
Wow.
was
It was on fire.
Wow.
unbelievable.
Yes, it was.
I was talking about this game today around the water cooler with a couple of my coworkers. And the thing about the NFL that's really, really crazy is that, full disclosure, I pretty much wrote the NFL off a few years ago. I just didn't like how things were going and the me. But the Monday night game against the Saints and the Texans, it reminded me of why I love this sport, why I love professional football.
Speak on
You had high-level players making high-level plays
Yes.
all over the field
In pressure situations.
in pressure situations. I mean, Hopkins,
Beast.
Watson,
Beast.
you had
Kamara.
Thomas.
Kamara.
I didn't even
Thomas.
get to I mean, everybody making high level, and then you end the game with a 58-yard field goal down the pike.
Yes.
High level football.
Yes.
With Drew Brees, he's saying, "Oh, you left me 38 seconds. I'll take that."
I mean,
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
was
really
one
get any
time
better
out
than
left.
that.
One time out too.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But one thing, the Texans got to figure out how they can protect Deshaun. That man's getting beat up
And he's such
for
a
the third year in a
Third year
row.
and he won't make it. He won't make it through the season.
Unless they want
Keep
another
taking that
Andrew
pounding.
Luck.
Right.
Look,
Yeah.
I made enough money. I'm going home because my body can't take it. I mean, it's a shame, but I mean, yeah, they were balling. They were balling. Then the Raiders, with their "we don't need AB" push, came through, won the game. I mean, Denver's pathetic.
Denver. Flacco. Really?
Denver's pathetic. But
Flacco.
good for the Raiders.
I was happy for the Raiders, but I really don't understand why the need to trade for AB when you're really trying to turn the culture of the Raiders around. At least that's what they say.
They were trying to sell tickets for
That's what I was
Vegas.
getting ready to say.
Right. That's what that was about.
Need a money
John
marketer.
Gruden's there to sell tickets for Vegas.
Mhm.
So he said, "I need somebody on the field," but AB had a different plan for him.
Mhm.
Patrick Mahomes continues to do Patrick Mahomes things. And I mean, that Chiefs-Jags game was pretty good. The only thing I saw was the Chiefs got to start playing a little defense because you can't expect that man to score 50 points every game, even though he might.
Yeah.
If he get the green light, he gonna throw that ball. So yeah, he can do it.
Speaking about Mahomes, and we just mentioned Watson, sitting through the Thursday night game and watching Mitchell Trubisky, and this is the year of the black quarterback. I don't know who made the decision that say, okay, we're going to pass on Mahomes and Watson. There's evidence that would suggest that was just a crazy idea. Like, Mitchell Trubisky started 13 games in college.
And wasn't that North Carolina?
At North Carolina.
Right.
Who didn't win a thing.
He played essentially the same schedule as Watson, except Watson went to a couple championships against Alabama
And beat them.
and beat them. And I don't know who makes these decisions.
Well,
It isn't. I think that's a no think. They did it because isn't that the oldest rivalry in football? 100 years now. That was what they said.
Yeah, why they put them on Thursday night? We understand that.
Yeah.
But the kids, how do you keep making the mistake of you've got year after year in college, the best quarterbacks in college, a.k.a. Lamar Jackson, a.k.a. Deshaun Watson, are black quarterbacks. But yet when it comes to being the number one pick up until this year, they always found a way to pick somebody else. I mean, we got it right here in D.C. Look at New York. How can you pick a quarterback from Duke
I could see a point guard.
before you pick somebody that came out of Ohio State
but they got Eli.
and threw for 5,000?
5,000 yards.
Come on now.
Yeah.
We know what that's about. That's not about stats and ability. That's about what looks good
it doesn't
in
make
our
sense.
area.
Right.
It does not make sense.
So since we're talking about quarterbacks and, outrageous money and why some get things and some don't, last week we had some interesting signings. Like we said earlier, Jared Goff of the Rams signs a 4-year, $134 million extension. Got $25 million for just putting his signature on the page. Another $57 million guaranteed, total of $110 million guaranteed, including injury guarantees. Hasn't won anything. They said he was a bust after year 1, so he's only had 2 decent seasons, and he got $134 million. But you get Jacoby Brissett, who comes in trying to bail out the Colts because their golden boy decided, I got enough money. I'm smart enough. I made almost $100 million. I'm going home. They give him a 2-year, $30 million contract.
You got to prove himself.
Yeah, just like Joe said, he has to prove himself.
Okay.
It's about the wins.
He's a starting quarterback.
I know he's starting
The
quarterback.
man got to get starting quarterback money.
Yeah.
The man out in San Francisco played 1.5 games for the Patriots and got $26 million a year. So why is somebody who's won games in the NFL, came from that same organization, only get 15?
And every time I see that boy out in Garoppolo, out in San Francisco, he's throwing the ball to the other team. Every time.
You say you need some glasses.
I mean, every time. If it's not practice, it's regular games.
Well, you know what they say, what he does in his off time, but we're going to leave that alone.
Oh.
Google it.
Okay.
Your boy Ezekiel Elliott finally gets signed shortly after we got off the radio last week. Now, the devil is in the details. 6 years, $90 million. Sounds good. 15 per. Highest paid running back in NFL. But let's dig into the numbers. He got $7.5 million signing bonus. While Lyle Collins, the offensive lineman who they signed the day before for 5 years, $50 million, got $9 million in signing bonus. Does that tell you something, Zeke? If you really crunch the numbers, he's on contract for the next 8 years, roughly $102 million. Zeke's only going to be with the Cowboys for at most 4 or 5 years. And his contract is heavily, heavily backloaded. In the last 3 years, there's $42 million of that contract in there. They can get rid of him after 4 years and only take a $6.7 million cap hit. $53 million of that contract they can just walk away from.
I think it's about right though for a running back. I mean, with the pounding that the backs take and the heavy workload that Zeke in particular takes, he's about 2 or 3 more years of being elite.
Okay, then pay him 2 or 3 years, elite money, and then deal with it then.
But do you trust Zeke?
I hear you.
Do you trust him?
I hear you.
I like him, but do you trust him?
I wouldn't trust him
Good point.
in a room with the females at all, but that's just me.
Next.
But you're talking about short deals. How about the power play Julio Jones did with the Atlanta Falcons?
That's my man.
Yeah. Well deserved.
2 years left on his contract, signed a 3-year extension for $66 billion. 64 when he put his name to paper.
Got that check.
Electronically send that to my bank,
That's right.
and I'll be there tomorrow. That's power.
Yes. Now, if they can get a quarterback down in Atlanta, we'd be on to something.
What, you don't like Matty Ice?
Oh my gosh.
That's a $32 million man.
Oh my God. Yeah. And Donald Trump is our president.
Let's keep it clean. Let's keep it clean.
Hey, hold on. Slow down.
No, the moral of the story is just because you have something doesn't necessarily mean you deserve something.
Totally agree.
And I'll leave it at that.
Feel you.
Okay.
Feel you.
Wow.
Now, LA Chargers won their game, and in the midst of winning their game, their two backup running backs, Mr. Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson, combined for over 260 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Gordon, I think you might want to report.
Oh,
Yes.
he says he will in 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. You should be reporting.
Mr. Gordon, I think you might want to report Wednesday.
Like, who gives these? Where is he getting his advice from?
No. And he has no leverage in this situation at all. So
And
he
fire
needs to
your
report.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. I'm sure his agent is telling him to hold out for more money so he can get more money in his pocket.
He got a problem.
Right.
And the Skins still got the Trent Williams problem. But we'll move on. I just hope that they finally resolve it one way or the other. Let that man go. He doesn't want to be here. Whatever the issues are, y'all can't resolve them. Trade him, get something for him, move on so everybody can move on with their lives. So the year of the black quarterback, Jason Reed of the ESPN's Undefeated had an interesting series of articles that's a good read, and I highly recommend everyone, if you have a chance, to check out the Undefeated. It's a great source. They do a lot of good things. But his premise was, did the NFL change because they were forced to? Or did college change so rapidly, and the adaptation of the college offenses in NFL made them start accepting the NFL black quarterbacks? As we all know, there have been black quarterbacks playing college football since we were allowed to play college football. I mean, HBCUs had dynamite black quarterbacks for years that could never play. If they tried to play, you had to change your position or go to Canada, a la Warren Moon, one of the greatest to ever do it. But this year, for the first time, like you mentioned, Russell Wilson, highest paid player in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, current reigning NFL MVP. Mr. Deshaun Watson, getting ready to get paid year 3. I'm sure he's looking at Dak, looking at what golf paid. He's like, hello.
Them bum, if they get it, I'm getting double.
You'll have to stay healthy, though.
You're not protecting me. You got to pay me. If not, I'll leave and go somewhere where they will.
They're going to pay him.
Jacoby Brissett starting with the Colts. Cam. I hope Cam stays healthy this year, because I think if he stays healthy, I think Cam can have another all-pro year, as long as he gets out of his way and stop wearing them crazy outfits. The man had a headscarf on.
He likes his hat. See, he keeps his everything's covered
He's
up.
glamorous.
Headscarf.
You should. It was a fancy do rag.
Hey, if I ain't know any better,
Mm.
I'm just leaving it there. Whoa. Jameis Winston.
Poor James.
Well, we count him now, but I don't know how much longer we're going to count him, because
It's not looking good.
he's struggling.
Big time.
He's struggling.
Big time.
And of course, Action Jackson, Lamar Jackson, here at the Ravens, doing big things. Even Kyler Murray struggled mightily in the first 3 quarters of that game. But in the 4th quarter, brought his team back.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean,
Good game.
let's remember he is a rookie, so there's going to be a learning curve. But he looks to be fine. The only thing I worry about Kyler is, can he take the pounding? I don't worry about his football abilities. We've all witnessed that. But I wonder if he can take being sacked 3 or 4 times a game. I just don't know. He's just so small. He looks small.
But he's thick.
Yeah, he's
But they
thick.
did bat down a couple of his
Yeah.
passes, quite a
Yeah.
few of his
Yeah,
passes.
well,
so
actually,
Right.
in fact, the last ball in overtime got batted down,
Mhm.
and that that pretty much ended it, and the game was pretty much over at that point.
If the DB for Arizona, I can't recall his name, if he catches the ball, he had a pick 6, the game was over.
Oh yeah, I
I'm not
remember that
taking
play.
anything. Look, I
Yeah.
want I
Yeah.
want Kyler to succeed. I really do. It's just that I worry about his health. I just
Right.
don't know if he can. Look, Andrew Luck was what, 6'4", 250, 240, and
With
I
no
mean,
line,
with no line. But the
and was taking a
offense,
killing.
right? But the offense that air raid offense that Arizona is running, it's not conducive to protecting the quarterback.
That's true.
That's why he's going to continue to move. I didn't see him take a lot of big shots. He was running out of bounds, and he knows how to turtle up and get down. So
Yes.
he knows how to
He's
protect
smart.
himself. I mean, ex-baseball player, knows how to slide.
Yes.
So I think he's going
Yeah,
to
he
be
does
all
that
right.
really well.
I think he's going to be all right. And so, I mean, do y'all think we're finally at that point where the black quarterback, besides arguing for their money, is going to be the norm now that we
I think
have
so.
almost 11 out of 32 teams, a third of the NFL starting quarterbacks are black now?
I think it's going to take a few more championships. If it wasn't for Pete Carroll, we'd have one with 2. I mean, Russell would have 2. But
Yeah.
I just think it's going to take a little more. It's like we mentioned earlier in the show. We have to go above and beyond. I think it's coming. It's obvious that that's where the game is heading because it's so fast. The game is so fast, and you did the year of the quarterback who's just sitting back there like a la Brady, a la Peyton Manning,
Drew Brees.
Drew, and you're talking about, okay, Peyton's gone, Brady's 2.
Drew's 40.
40.
So you're not going to see that anymore. The game's too fast. So yeah, I think we are headed that way, but as long as we stay in line
And win games.
and win games.
Well, the NFL is really not going to have any choice in the matter because most of the top college quarterbacks now are black quarterbacks. We have your few, like your boy Trevor Lawrence, the golden boy, and we all know why he's the golden boy because he fits all those stereotypical images. 6'4", 6'5", 235, blonde hair, looks the part.
Let's talk about the game.
But then you got the Tuas of the world, the Jalen Hurts of the world. So they're not going to have a choice. And you can't sit in the pocket anymore in the NFL and survive
No.
16 weeks.
Mm-mm.
So what you think of week 2 of the college football season?
It was fine. I really enjoyed the game I enjoyed the most was the Army Michigan game.
Yeah.
I love rooting for Army. I just like every time they play, it's just they're putting their heart out, they're playing hard. The end result, they don't always win, but you're in a game. And really, they should have beat Michigan.
They should have beat Michigan.
They should have beat Michigan. But that was the game that really, really spoke volumes. I was looking forward to the A&M Clemson game, and I guess Clemson stayed in Texas. Excuse me, I guess A&M stayed in Texas because they showed no fight, nothing.
I have to agree with you because I'm telling you, when Texas A&M plays or Alabama, it's like they go to a totally different level when they're on the field. And then when they play any other team, it's like, who are they again?
Yeah. Clemson has the dogs. No ifs, ands, or buts
They
about
have
it.
the dogs.
That game wasn't pretty, but they did what they needed to do. Trevor looks mortal. I'm not sure if he's struggling with the weight of being the man, the golden child, but they still got too many Joes there that can carry the rock for them, and the running back's doing this thing. So Clemson's going to be all right.
Dabo's so smart.
The college game that really jumped out at me was right here locally. Maryland Terps put it on Syracuse. Everybody said, oh, Maryland scored 79 on Howard. No big deal. They put 63 on Syracuse, and Syracuse was ranked 21 and 24, depending on the poll you look at. Mike Loxley is doing his thing.
I got a love-hate relationship with Mike Loxley. So here's the thing.
Take your Bama glasses off.
Did he really? No. This goes back to the first game against Howard. We all live in the DMV area. Did he really have to embarrass Howard like that in HBCU? Did he really have to do that to him? I mean, come on now. 70-some points. It wasn't necessary. What did you gain out of it?
He put in second and third stringers. What are you supposed to do? Tell the people not to score? What are we?
It just didn't. It didn't go down good.
Howard made more money in that game than they're gonna make all year.
Yeah, but
so he was helping them out.
Oh, that's it. But psychological. Come on. That's not necessary. I just don't. I didn't like that. I'm glad Maryland. It seems like they have a little fight in them this year, but the way they did Howard was just wrong.
I think that was a great recruiting tool, actually, for both schools, not just Maryland. There's a whole lot of local get on TV. The team may not be good, but if I can get on TV and I'm a 3-star recruit, I might get seen and might make it to the league. And the school made money. Would you rather them play another HBCU, not be on TV, and you never saw them?
No, I like the idea of playing Maryland. I like the idea of that paycheck going to Howard University, but I don't like the fact that he put 79 points up. It could have been 60.
So speaking of sports real quick, I want to give a special shout out to one of our listeners, Will Spate. He gave us a good suggestion, and we're gonna end tonight. We're gonna talk about St. Francis Academy of Baltimore in their high school, ranked number 4 in the nation right now. And we also want to talk about Gonzaga, number 10 in the nation, beating Don Brosco Prep of New Jersey. And then we also want to talk about number 4, St. John's, who loses to St. Joseph, Philadelphia. And then also, lastly, we want to talk about DeMatha, who's 1-1, but also ranked in the nation.
Yeah, high school football in the area is always robust. St. Francis situation, impressive. My hat's off to Coach Biff. Coach Pogge. Here's a man who put his money and his time to a cause that he felt great about. It's just real interesting. He coached for decades here in Baltimore, did the same things, but he was at a predominantly you-know-what school.
Speaking of Coach Pogge and St. Francis, if anyone has an opportunity, I would encourage them to go on ESPN's website and Google Gene Wojciechowski. He has an E60 article on St. Francis and that whole story as far as all the good things that Coach Pogge is really doing for that school. St. Francis, if anyone doesn't know, it's a historically Black Catholic school in the heart of Baltimore. It's a really interesting read. And again, I encourage everyone to take 10 minutes out of their day and read it. It's really.
Yeah. Again, a man that put not only his time, not only his energy, but a lot of money behind his program. When he was at his other high school, he actually put up the first $60,000 to get St. Francis started while he was coaching another school. Retired, and then decided, hey, they need help. And now he's helping a whole bunch of people. And yeah, they may get them from North Carolina, Virginia, Baltimore, which 70% of the players are from. But why are you going to have a whole school system athletic departments go out and say, we're not going to play him anymore?
They should. That's a disgrace. It's a disgrace because when St. Francis was the whipping boys of the, and really that's the Catholic League. If you really want, it's the MIAA. It's really the Catholic League of Baltimore. And when they were the whipping boys, it was fine. But when came in and built it up, now they're no longer the whipping boys, but now they have safety concerns, and they just pulled out. So now they're on a national schedule. In fact, this weekend they play Mater D.
Right.
California.
Big time.
Big time.
Number 2 in the nation. One of the big powers in football for the last 30, 40 years. So hats off again to St. Francis, Gonzaga, and St. John's de Matha. Keep fighting. That's our little local high school football wrap up. Before we get out of here, a couple of things that we got to talk about real quick. U.S. Open, Serena Williams.
Wow.
Even though she lost to Bianca Andreescu, Serena, proud of you. She's a living legend. And then you add in Rafa Nadal, who won his 19th major. I don't care if you're not a tennis fan. If you have opportunity to watch Serena, Venus, Rafa, Roger, make time out of your day, DVR, because these are true living legends of the sports, the greatest of all time to do what they're doing, still playing and watching history. You should take time out to do that. The UFC had a big fight out in Abu Dhabi. They actually built a stadium to hold this fight. Spent over $100 million. Must be nice to have money. But that boy Khabib Nurmagomedov, he's a bad man. If he gets his hands on you, you can cancel Christmas.
Night.
He retains his undisputed 155-pound UFC belt. And one thing that really caught my eye that a lot of people probably missed in this area, the Washington Mystics of the WNBA just finished the regular season, number 1 seed, 26-8. They've been doing this while one of their top players, Chrissy Tolliver's, missed the last 11 games. Alayla Deladon, EDD, probably the MVP, missed 3 games, finished the season, averaging 19.5, 8-2, while shooting 51.5 from the floor, 43% from 3, and 97.4% from the free throw line. If you can get down to the DC entertainment and sports arena out in Southeast, it's a fun atmosphere. It only sits about 4,500 to 5,000. It's a great time, and you don't have to worry about being in Southeast and DC. Trust me, police are out in force.
All over the place.
So now it's time for our final post before we get out here. Joe, what you got for me?
All I can say is the NFL is back with the excitement. I'm glad to see we saw some very good games this weekend. I hope it continues for the next 15 weeks.
Big Al, what you got for me on the final post?
What I can say is there was it happened a couple months ago. I don't know if you guys were aware of it. With Steph Curry, what he did for Howard University.
Yes, with the golf program.
Okay. I just like to commend him and thank him for doing that. That's what I really have to say.
Yeah, that's another man putting his money where his mouth is. He put that money out of his own pocket and then got Under Armour to back him as well.
Yep.
Ed?
Oh, I'm looking forward to Friday night. I'm going to do something I haven't done in years. I'm going to a high school football game. I'm going to head out to Gaithersburg.
Nice.
Damascus is playing Quince Orchid.
Ooh.
And Damascus features the number 1 recruit for next year that's committed to play at Clemson University. So I'm going to go out there and have some high school football and just hang out.
Sound like fun.
Looking forward to it.
That sounds like a good time. Yeah, high school football games, Friday Night Lights is always fun. My final post is a little bit out of the realm. as a parent, one of the proudest things you can ever have is to see your child achieve their dreams. And I would just like to say to my baby girl, who's right now in the process of moving to New York City to start her new life as an attorney at a law firm, that baby girl, you've made me so proud. And to see you do what you do, I'm in awe. You are the best, most important thing that I've ever done in this lifetime. And your daddy loves you, and I'll be up there to help you soon.
She can walk to work.
She needs to with the rent she's paying. So I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and the opportunity to share our position on sports with you. Please tune in next Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our next show, or download the show via Mixcloud, Facebook, or YouTube. Also, please tell your friends and family and social media network contacts about the show. Have a great evening and a great week. This has been Positional Sports Talk Show on the Worldwide Flavor Network. Please stay tuned for Overtime, featuring Miss Color Beauty. Up next.
Peace. Good job. Good job.